Well, let's get right to it because I want to hit a couple announcements before we get started again. So this week, starting tomorrow, we have registration will open up for our Give Back event. So this is our very first like official charity event. Nikki, who's on the call right now, she is actually our official Fitme Give Back coordinator and has put this together with a whole bunch of like our members. It's going to be amazing. Registration opens tomorrow. So you will see the link to registration in the Facebook group, and you'll see it in the Marco Polo groups. It's really fun. Actually, Nikki, do you want to share what, I don't know if it's easy for you to unmute. I can share for you, but why don't you go ahead and do it?
Okay. So basically starting tomorrow, you can register. And the event will be that second week in June. I want to say the 5th through the 12th, if I'm getting the dates right. And there will be 3 events for you to choose from. And you could choose to do one event or all 3. We encourage you to get a friend or family member to join you. Kids are free. You'll get a shirt out of it. And we have a fun shirt design plan that you'll receive after the event. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we want as many people that can to sign up so that we can donate to the 3 food banks we have picked out. And I look forward to seeing you all register.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, I'm excited too. So you can basically do the event any day you want during that week. So we made it as flexible as possible. And there's different ways you guys will see on the registration tomorrow, different ways you could donate. So you can do just a pure registration, or you can bump it, or you can add a buddy, however you want to do it. I'm going to try to make it fun for some of the people who are local out here and see if some of the people want to do the 5K with me, and then maybe we'll do a barbecue after. So if you get some friends together to do with you, whatever you're going to do, it might be a fun time to get together with people too. Like, let's use it for opportunity, like see people we love, or like get our families involved, or anything like that. And it's going to 3 local food banks that we picked out. So Give Back registration is this week, and then starting the following week is registration for our big Fitme weekend events. And we've got 2. So these are the save the date. I'm going to keep telling you because I want you to save the date. We only have 30 spots available for each event. So the Maryland one is in Kent Island on the September 17th, 18th, and 19th. And the Washington one is in Snoqualmie, October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And so save the dates, and registration will open for that in a week, and you can start signing up to reserve your spot, which it's going to be so cool. It's basically 3 nights. We're going to eat together, sleep together. It's going to be all the best coaching on steroids for you. You'll come to that event, you'll leave different. We'll like be the bestest of friends after it's over. It's going to be amazing. So definitely save the date. They are the same like plan, but you can attend both if you wanted to, but you wouldn't miss anything. It's not like there's one thing for one and one for the other. So if you just wanted to choose one, you could choose one. But if you're like, I want to be both places, you could do that. All right, let's get to it. Last week we talked snacks, and we actually made a short-term Marco Polo group. A ton of you are in it, called Snack Attack. I have decided to extend that group just 1 week because I feel like we really just got going in there. We kind of like shared, brainstormed, made some ideas, and now I feel like this week we're going to use it for accountability and like trying some of the things we learned. I know a lot of people like learned new ideas and things they wanted to do for snacks. And so if you are in that group, we're going to extend it by 1 week. I know I certainly want to use it for the accountability of it. And if you missed out on joining, it's not too late. You can just hop in there. It's a short-term Marco Polo group. It's got people from all the different Marco Polo groups. A handful of coaches are in there, and it will go away like in a week, I guess. We'll give it 1 more week. So with that, I think it brings me to this week's topic, which we've been sticking with the basics on these Sunday calls, and I love it because you can't hit the basics enough. If you've ever met someone who does something at a really high level, like say, have you ever met like a really good gymnast or someone who has like achieved the highest levels of music or something like that, and you really start to ask them what it is that they practice, they don't practice like the advanced skills that often. It's more often like their attention to the basics, the foundation that they built that's allowed them to get to a higher level. Our first 12 weeks with Fitme is called our foundation program. And the reason behind it is because when you work on these basics, you work on your foundation, it allows you to reach like a different access level. So, we talk about the different tools that people use, and some of those fit into those foundation pieces. But if you could imagine, if you only built your, I don't know, tower off of one tiny tool, and then life throws you a curveball, that's all you got. So the better that we do these basics, the better we have practiced them, even if it is many times, the stronger and wider our foundation is, and then the higher we can reach. So like when we talk about what does that even mean, Christy? Like, why are you talking in metaphor? What's the higher that we can reach? Well, it really could be anything, right? Like it could be that you get to a weight loss goal that you might not have been able to achieve without that foundation. Maybe it's you like access something completely new, like you're able to, do a 5K that you never thought you were going to be able to do, or a 10K, or your body feels way better than it ever has before. So everybody's kind of like, what does that like peak mean? Could be different, but at the end of the day, it's like being able to access more. So each of these Sundays, we're really focusing on the basics. That's why we're returning to them. And even if it's something that you're like, okay, well, I kind of have that one. How do you make it better? How do you improve? Like when we talked about movement, how do you make it better? How do you like think about ways that you can maybe do restorative movement if you've already got movement in the bank? So there's always ways to get better on the basics. And again, if you're not sure, ask somebody who is excellent at something. They always return to those basics. They return to the fundamentals, and that's what they practice. And so this week, we're going to build off of snacks. And I think this is a very logical next step. We are going to talk about shopping, grocery shopping, because one of the basics that we should all have in terms of taking care of ourselves and leading a healthy lifestyle is how we do grocery shopping. And so I want to talk about how we shop, how we can improve it, and what are some of our like go-to strategies for shopping. So I think had I done this call 2 years ago, it might be different, because I bet most people shopped in person 2 years ago. And I would bet at least half of us, if not more, are shopping online for groceries now, because it became such a necessity during, in 2020. If you're still shopping in person, which I think most of us do sometimes, one of the things that I think you probably could agree is true is shopping that outside aisle. Everybody knows that rule. That can be like a very helpful tip, right? Because produce is out there, the meats are out there, the dairy section's out there. You can be pretty sure that you're going to find like quality, whole food, Fitme plate style ingredients are going to be on the outside. I personally, when I shop in person, I only go in the aisle. I almost like dive in and then dive out, because I know as soon as I start going up and down the aisles, I pick whatever I see. And again, it is not bad, good, whatever it is. It's just true. It is designed for you to do that. The companies have spent a lot of money for you to see things at certain eye levels, right? Like children's cereal, lower eye level than, other things that might be right at your eye level. So just in-person grocery shopping tip, outside for sure, dive into the aisles when you need something and then hop right back out. Other tip for grocery shopping, rule of threes. This works for online or in-person grocery shopping. This one sounds really dumb, but if you feel overwhelmed with what to buy for groceries, this one just really helps me. 3 proteins and 3 veggies per trip. Why? Because then it doesn't go bad. So nothing can be as frustrating as going out and buying a whole bunch of like fresh vegetables and them all going bad. So if you can focus on 3, like, okay, I got Brussels sprouts, I've got asparagus, and I've got broccoli. Those are my 3s. Now I'm going to go over to the protein section. I've got pork chops, I've got, ground beef, and I've got chicken breast. Okay. Now you basically have the mix and match ability to probably make 3 solid meals plus some leftovers. That gets you most of the way through your week. Now, your family, if you need to take that to 4, do it. But this is like a super simplified way of like, what do I shop for? And really distilling it down to like, pick a couple proteins, pick some veggies. Well, what else do you get? All right, well, now you can start adding to your list and pick out what you actually want to get, which is the next tip. Have a list. If you have a list, you're going to go in with intention. You're going to have thought about. Now, this is the part where people like, it's like the deal breaker, right? What happens before a list? You think about what you're going to cook. So if you are at home and you're like, what am I going to cook this week? You're essentially doing meal planning. You're thinking to yourself, what am I going to cook? And then you make a list of what you don't have. And then you go to the store and then you get that. I know you're like, Christy, that sounds so dumb, but I cannot tell you how many times people tell me they struggle with meal planning. So it's important to break it down. Like meal planning at the store, that's expert level. If you've got it on lock, you can meal plan at the store. If this is like, man, I really need to think it through, it should be done at your house. You got to think about what it is that you're going to put together. Maybe look through your recipes, maybe look through Fitme plates. Think about it. What's going to be a great meal for me, for dinners? What can I take for lunches? What are some good snacks, especially after last week? What am I going to stock my house up with for snacks? Do I have what I need for breakfast? Make your list and then you shop. Now, here's the great thing about online shopping. If you haven't started online shopping, you might actually be missing out because to me, my list is done for me a lot because it like auto generates. Even if you're doing pickup version, you don't necessarily have to do like the delivery version. If you're just picking up your groceries, it auto generates the things that you've ordered before. And that can be a huge time saver in terms of just like not having to start from scratch each time. You can go through and pick your kind of go-tos. So I know this is like silly in some ways because you're like, yes, of course, Christy, you plan, you make a list, you go to the store, you buy the stuff, but it's not that easy. Sometimes simple things are not easy. And it's easier said than done because it still requires prioritizing this in your week somewhere. And this is like the critical question that you're going to answer for your coach this week. This is your like homework. When does this happen for you? When? Is this a Sunday thing that you plan out your week, you get your stuff ordered, or you go to the store, you get stocked up? Is this a Saturday thing? Do you have to do it twice based off of the size of your family? Maybe you need to order stuff, or maybe you're like really fresh. You like your food fresh. So you want to do one order the beginning of the week, one order midweek. We actually are those kind of people. We do usually 2 orders a week. When do you do your meal planning and your grocery shopping? Do you know what to buy while you're there? There's no dumb questions, honestly. Like if you are like, how do I start to like vegetables? Which a lot of people feel like that. They feel embarrassed because they're like, I should not be an adult and not like vegetables. But then when you get to start to try them, it's the first time you're trying to buy them, it can kind of feel overwhelming or stressful. Like, for example, just simple things that might come obvious once you've already done it might not be obvious. Like, for example, spinach. Like I always buy pre-washed, ready to rock spinach, but they also sell spinach that's fresh with the leaves on in a giant mountain that you have to like bag yourself. I would never buy that because it takes too long to have to clean it and to dry it and to deal with those stems and stuff. I don't want to deal with it. Like I want to deal with the already pre-washed, ready to rock spinach. So that is just like a simple thing about grocery shopping that maybe I take for granted, but I definitely did not know that when I first started looking for vegetables. So Your target for the week is to talk to your coach about when you do your meal planning and your grocery shopping. And do you have a system that's reliable? With meals, it's less about reinventing the wheel and more about finding what you like and what works and putting it in a rotation. So most people who have a really good handle on healthy eating are eating similar things, like kind of on a rotation. Like my family likes this most of the time. So we do this, if not every week, every other week, or at least once a month. So you're not reinventing the wheel. So in the beginning, it feels overwhelming because you might not have those go-tos, but that's what we're doing. We want you to start to figure out the meals that your family likes, that you like, that you know what to buy, you know what to look for, and then it takes some of like the thinking out of it. So let's talk about grocery shopping. If you have tips, if you have strategies, if you have questions, or if you're like, this is what I need to work on, let me know. Full confession, I actually am not a great meal planner. I know a lot of great meal planners. This girl's not one of them. I like to wing it. But I also wing it with a lot of practice. So to be fair, I can get away with winging it now because I practiced putting together healthy meals for a couple of years. I don't think I could have been winging it in the beginning, but I still struggle with planning stuff out. Sometimes I'm annoyed because I don't have it in my house. And then we have boring Fitme plates. My kids complain.
So the first thing I do is I meal plan because I look at the calendar for the week, and like for us Tuesdays, we're not getting home till 5:30 because of my son's music lesson. So I know I either want leftovers that day to make something that's going to have leftovers on Monday and so on. So that helps me meal plan. And then I just sit with that plan and I just do my grocery pickup, which I don't know why I didn't start that sooner, because it really helps you stay on budget and buy the foods that you want to get. So I usually meal plan on Thursday mornings, put in my grocery order, and then pick it up on Friday. And then I'll wash and cut up all my vegetables and fruit, so it's good to go for the rest of the week.
It's solid. That sounds like you really put it together. And I love what you brought up, which is like context counts. Like, where are you going to be during the week? Do you have activities? Do you have obligations? Do you have stuff you have to do? Are you going to be home to cook? It's all well and good to imagine yourself like doing some, baked salmon and all the veggies. If you're not home, you're not cooking it. So what can you put in the crock pot that will work, for a busy Tuesday night?
Need the slow cooker. I do that a lot.
Yes. Thanks, Nikki. That's really good.
For shopping, I started making a list on my phone for each store that I go to. I go to 3 different stores for different things. And so now when I'm meal planning for the week, I don't really meal plan, I food plan. I just know what kind of foods I want to eat. I don't love to cook. I don't find it cathartic or helpful or fun. So I just, whatever. Anyway. So when I'm thinking about
what I want to eat, that, Angie, so you don't have to say whatever. I think a lot of people are like that. So I like hearing what you're saying. Like, you're not relying on recipes or enjoying, but you're still picking the kinds of foods you need to pick.
Yeah. So the note keeper on my phone allows me to add check boxes to my list. And so when I'm sitting down thinking about what I need at the store, then I'll sort my list by what I need that day, or that for that trip, because I've got a lot of, like, my Costco list can be super long, but I don't always need all of that stuff at Costco. So I sort the list so that the stuff I need for that trip is at the top, and then the other stuff I know I don't need that day. And that's really helpful for me. And I really like Costco's frozen vegetables. Like, their frozen broccoli and their frozen green beans are amazing. And I just put them in portion-sized containers, and I can just take them with me and either heat them up in the microwave or eat them cold, just depending on how I'm feeling that day. But that's been a lifesaver for me to help me get more veggies in.
I really like their green beans. I've never tried their broccoli, but their green beans are super solid. No, I'm glad that you shared that. Like, food planning is a mental relief if you think that the only way you're going to eat healthy is like to have like fancy recipes or to be somebody who loves to cook. You don't, but you do have to prioritize it enough to pay attention to it and figure out, okay, which ones do I like? What can I buy that's going to work for me this week? How do I stock my house with foods that take care of my body? So we're really focusing on this week is like, what do we want to put in our cart? You know, what do we virtual or physical cart? That good rule of like, you know, if I wouldn't want it in my house on my worst day, then don't buy it. Like that happens during the grocery shopping process. And so to me, that's one of those really good places of boundaries where you can start to think about like, I am choosing to put this good stuff in my cart. It should feel good when you do that. And like passing by stuff that you're like, man, I just, no, not doing it. That should feel good. It shouldn't feel restrictive.
I don't know why this comes to mind, but from what Angie just said about how she doesn't really love cooking, you know, whatever. I think I like to get a lot of fresh herbs at the grocery store when I'm there. And that kind of helps if you don't really like to cook and you feel like, you know, your meal prepping's bland and boring and stuff. I think that's just a tip for like flavor to make something very simple and monotonous seem really fresh and yummy and different. Because depending on the herbs, it's like you can make it be whatever flair.
Can you give some examples, Leah, like some specific examples?
I would say, and I've said this before, one of my favorite things in a salad is cilantro and apples. I also like basil in my salad. I like mint in my salad. Like, yeah, you could put these like in a rice too, you know, to flavor up your rice or, you know, just make it something totally different. Same with spices, like if you like curry or, you know, depends on if you like Italian or, you know, whatever. But I think that when you're at the grocery store, those things are very important to look at and find something that you like and something that's going to be varied if you're not a person that, you know, loves to cook and doesn't want to eat the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think another good combo that like really changes the flavors of food, which should be on your grocery list all the time, are like citrus, lemon, and lime. Put that on your standard go-to list because you can put lemon on just about any vegetable. Lemon and salt makes it taste delicious. Lime goes amazing almost all like chicken products. You're like, what? This is so good. Why? Because like a little bit of lime and some like, you know, Mexican seasoning, so good. Game changer. And so just citrus, having that as just like a standard on your grocery. Does anybody else have another thing that they would say like, I always get this on my groceries, always?
I'll just throw this out there. I
Yeah.
always have coconut aminos.
Mm.
They're
It's
just
like
like
soy
a good
sauce.
flavor. It is without the salt and all the BS, and it's like a little bit sweeter maybe, but it's just like a really good, like kind of calorie-free flavor.
Mm-hmm. It's a good substitute for soy sauce if you're gluten intolerant. You can have coconut aminos instead. I think I've told you guys this before. I really like the single serving guacamoles. Like to me, those are just like a staple. I buy those every time. Anybody else have like this is always on my grocery list?
For me, it's mixed greens because you can do so much with it. You can throw protein on there, cut up berries, and just change it up every time. So get different sorts of salads when you need something quick.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I think I can't think of the phrase. Lately, I have been butchering like phrases that people remember that are like standard colloquialisms, and I just like butcher them and change them. So I wanted to, I was gonna combo by accident, the proof is in the pudding and the devil's in the details. And I was getting ready to say the devil's in the pudding. And I'm like, what the? My brain is broken. Oh, no. The details can sometimes matter. So like what what Leah was just sharing about how food can taste good. Molly's still laughing at me.
Dude, the devil's in the pudding. I can't get past that, and that's gonna stick with me. So thanks.
The devil. He's stuck in the pudding. But now you're gonna remember when you go grocery shopping to buy the stuff that makes food taste good. So Fitme plates are very simple. You know, that's why we like it, because it relieves some of the pressure of like recipes and having to do it. You can mix and match. You can take it with you anywhere. But one of the mistakes we can make is be like, why am I sick of eating healthy when AKA all you've been eating is boiled chicken breast? And you're like, I can't eat another boiled chicken breast. Well, nobody wants to eat boiled chicken breast. So like, you have to figure out like how to mix and match to make food taste good, and just a little bit of seasoning, the devil's in the pudding, is how you're going to do that. And so use this week to talk to your coach about how to make Fitme plates taste better or taste different, or, you know, how do I like mix it up a little bit so my kids will actually try these vegetables? You know, those kind of questions is how you take this week's target to the next level. If you've already got like a pretty good handle on shopping, like, how do I make this taste better? How do I mix it up? How do I, you know, do this and save some money? Like, you can still, no matter where you're at, take this, you know, to the next level. And if you are just a crusher, then you better share that love this week. Share it with somebody else who is not like as sure of how to do this, because this is, you know, this is a challenging one. It seems so simple, but it's such an important part of our foundation. So anything else before we wrap up? All right, guys, let's take a quick pick and then we'll wrap it up. Don't forget to register for Give Back and for our Fitme events. All right, guys, ready?
Christy, whoa, I have a question.
Yes,
Is
go ahead.
deviled pudding kind of like deviled eggs?
I think it should be. Yes.
Just wondered. Okay, I'm
Deviled
done.
pudding. Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, have a great night, and we will talk soon. Take care. Bye.